Positioned adjacent to the mayor, in a seat customarily assigned to village council, were two unfamiliar figures: Chicago federal criminal defense attorney Beau Brinley and his associate Ed McDavid.
Two witnesses chose to lie, implicate this man, and drag him through this experience from 2019 until today.
David and others knew of Kelly's sexual contact and sexual acts with minors.
Mayor Henyard is in a situation where she feels like she's under attack, because she is.
Tiffany Henyard, the contentious and polarizing mayor of Doton, Illinois, has once again ignited a storm of controversy. However, this time, it isn't merely her extravagant expenditures or the chaotic nature of her board meetings that are dominating the headlines. No, it's something far more significant and ominous. She has enlisted the services of an attorney so notoriously infamous, with deep-rooted connections to some of the most egregious and infamous cases in American legal history, that everyone is left questioning the soundness of her judgment. Beau Brinley, now acting as Henyard's criminal defense counsel, was engaged after the FBI issued subpoenas to the village and township earlier this year. He assigns blame to Henyard's chief aide, Keith Freeman. From defending R. Kelly's manager, entangled in a scandal involving minors, to a career steeped in fraud and bribery, Tiffany's selection of legal representation might very well be the most disastrous and egregious misstep of her tenure. Let me assure you, the outlook is grim.
Beau Brinley is Henyard's criminal defense attorney, hired after the FBI served subpoenas in the village and township earlier this year. He blames Henyard's top aide, Keith Freeman.
Remain vigilant as we unravel the astonishing and multifaceted past of Beau Brinley, examining how his involvement could potentially herald the collapse of Tiffany Henyard's already precarious and embattled career. Tiffany Henyard, the self-proclaimed and self-styled leader of Doton, has consistently courted controversy, whether through accusations of unethical financial practices or by embroiling herself in vociferous altercations during board meetings. Her name is incessantly associated with scandal and discord. Yet, Henyard has now exacerbated the situation by enlisting the services of an attorney whose past is so replete with intrigue and notoriety that it verges on the fantastical. We are referring to Beau Brinley, a figure distinguished for his representation of some of the most controversial and infamous individuals in the annals of American legal history.
Grateful for having the honor and the chance to defend.
Yet Brinley is also infamous for engaging in a variety of ethically dubious activities. This represents merely the superficial layer of his contentious history. From allegations of client fraudulence to charges of bribery, Brinley's professional track record is far from pristine. If one assumes this is merely another instance of a lawyer with a dubious background, one should reconsider. Brinley's association with R. Kelly's manager, an individual entangled in a scandal involving minors, casts a significant pall over his ethical credibility. This provokes a critical question. Why did Tiffany Henyard elect to engage his services? And what ramifications does this hold for her political trajectory? To fully grasp why Tiffany Henyard's decision to employ Beau Brinley is so laden with controversy, an in-depth examination of Brinley's past is imperative. He is a seasoned legal practitioner, yet his career has been marred by questionable practices. Consider one of his most notorious cases, the defense of R. Kelly's manager. For those acquainted with R. Kelly's legal tribulations, it is evident that this case stands as one of the most scandalous and disturbing legal battles in contemporary history. Kelly's manager, who faced allegations ranging from witness tampering to involvement in a scandal involving minors, had Beau Brinley as his legal advocate. Brinley's achievement in securing an acquittal for Kelly's manager, while indicative of his legal prowess, concurrently raises profound concerns regarding his methodological integrity. Reports indicate that Brinley's strategies have often been deemed suspect, with numerous allegations of witness manipulation, evidence tampering, and bribery. In 2015, Brinley himself was embroiled in allegations of misconduct. He faced a 21-count indictment encompassing charges such as witness coaching, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy, linked to 6 federal criminal trials where he acted as defense counsel. A pivotal piece of evidence presented by the prosecution was a set of question and answer documents utilized by Brinley to prepare witnesses. According to the Chicago Tribune, Brinley contended that these documents were modeled after those employed by prosecutors for grand jury preparations, asserting their efficacy in trial readiness. However, the presiding judge dismissed the testimony against Brinley, noting that the witnesses had negotiated substantial deals with the government and had already engaged in perjury. The judge also acknowledged using similar preparation tools in his own practice. While rigorous preparation is an essential facet of legal advocacy, the demarcation between comprehensive preparation and improper coaching remains contentious. Ultimately, Brinley was acquitted, but the trial left enduring uncertainties regarding his ethical practices. Additionally, he has faced accusations of defrauding clients, allegedly securing substantial sums without delivering on his commitments. Client reviews reveal a litany of complaints, alleging that Brinley accepted payments and subsequently disappeared. One reviewer questioned his continued practice, while another labeled him a fraud and criminal. This is the individual Tiffany Henyard has selected to represent her, a lawyer with a record of defending the indefensible and scamming clients. What does this choice indicate about Tiffany's judgment? Or, more intriguingly, what might she be concealing? Moreover, Brinley's involvement in the R. Kelly case, involving one of the preeminent R&B stars of the 1990s and early 2000s, exacerbates scrutiny surrounding his professional conduct.
Mayor Henyard is in a situation where she feels like she's under attack, because she is.
The narrative delves into the contentious legacy of Daryl McDavid, the erstwhile business manager of R. Kelly, alongside Bo Brinley, an attorney notorious for his aggressive defense tactics. McDavid was pivotal in obfuscating R. Kelly's criminal conduct, particularly through the orchestration of substantial financial transactions aimed at retrieving tapes allegedly showcasing Kelly engaged in illicit activities with minors. The testimonies of Charles Freeman and Lisa Van Allen reveal the extreme measures undertaken by Kelly and his associates to shield him, encompassing coercive threats and financial inducements. This context is especially salient concerning Tiffany Henyard's contentious decision to appoint Brinley as her legal counsel. Given Brinley's historical propensity for employing morally dubious strategies in high-profile legal battles, including those implicating R. Kelly, Henyard's choice has incited significant critique. The situation is further complicated by the resignation of Henyard's original legal representatives, who cited financial exigencies as their reason for withdrawal. This development has generated extensive concern and speculation regarding the potential repercussions of Henyard's decision, suggesting that her legal approach might be fraught with significant risk and possible adverse consequences. Kansas City undertook significant precautions to inhibit R. Kelly from accessing a compromising videotape, yet 6 years later, when it became known that Kelly was prepared to offer $250,000 for its restitution, Lisa Van Allen, alongside another individual, facilitated its return. During the judicial proceedings, Bo Brinley scrutinized the rationale behind Van Allen's decision to return the tape if her initial intent had been to preclude Kelly from viewing it. Brinley emphasized contradictions in Van Allen's testimony, highlighting that in the 2008 trial, she had professed ignorance of a tape exclusively featuring Kelly and the minor, which was incongruent with her current declarations. This testimony was presented on the 9th day of R. Kelly's trial, where the prosecution alleged that Kelly and his confederates, including Daryl McDavid and Milton Brown, had allocated substantial sums, amounting to hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years, to retrieve tapes portraying Kelly in illicit activities with minors. The prosecution argued that these financial maneuvers constituted elements of a broader conspiracy designed to obscure Kelly's criminal conduct and obstruct the course of justice. In this context, Tiffany Henyard's decision to engage Beau Brinley, an attorney with a notorious and morally ambiguous track record, has generated substantial controversy. Observers are left to question whether Henyard anticipates a replication of Brinley's prior dubious legal victories, or if more insidious motives underpin her choice. The backlash has been severe, with considerable public and critical disapproval. Compounding Henyard's difficulties, her legal representation, the Del Gallo Law Group, has recently resigned, citing financial strains and unpaid fees, thereby exacerbating her precarious legal situation.
Two witnesses chose to lie, implicate this man, and drag him through this experience from 2019 until today.
The abrupt dissolution of a public official's legal representation is an alarming indicator, often signifying concealed complexities and suggesting that Henyard may be enmeshed in more grave predicaments than she has publicly disclosed. With Brinley now commandeering her defense, the situation is anticipated to become even more convoluted. The crux of the matter lies in whether Brinley's morally ambiguous and controversial tactics will prove effective in extricating Henyard from her legal entanglements, or if they will, instead, precipitate her ultimate downfall. Intriguingly, there are recordings documenting Brinley's participation in Dalton Village board meetings alongside Henyard. The presence of such a high-profile criminal defense attorney at municipal sessions is both atypical and conspicuously noteworthy. The two legal representatives were observed in close proximity to Henyard throughout the entire meeting, including their engagement in the board's confidential executive sessions. This development is particularly significant in light of Henyard's involvement in an ongoing FBI corruption investigation. There are mounting concerns that Henyard might exploit Brinley's services as part of her defense strategy, potentially at the financial detriment of the village. Municipal Attorney Bert Oden has expressed grave reservations about the propriety of Brinley's presence, questioning the rationale behind having a federal criminal defense attorney attend such meetings. Oden further asserted that utilizing municipal funds to cover Brinley's fees would be illicit. In the context of Chicago's political landscape, it is a well-established norm for indicted politicians to finance their criminal defense independently, rather than drawing on municipal resources. With Henyard's legal team in disarray and an FBI investigation looming, Brinley's involvement, intended initially as a strategic asset, may paradoxically emerge as a significant liability. Henyard's administration has been marred by numerous scandals and controversies, engendering persistent skepticism regarding her leadership and ethical standards. Notably, accusations of financial mismanagement and misuse of public funds have intensified public distrust and scrutiny. Henyard's administration has faced criticism for obstructing the release of financial records, contravening state transparency laws, even when ordered by the Illinois Attorney General's office to produce these documents. WGN, a major news outlet, intervened, resulting in a judicial mandate for Dalton to disclose extensive documentation, including credit card statements that revealed exorbitant expenditures on first-class travel, luxury accommodations, gourmet dining, and personal shopping sprees between July and November 2023.
Although Law Group says it's not being paid, so it'll stop appearing in federal and state court and defending Dalton and Henyard in 22 different lawsuits.
The most egregious among these expenditures encompasses a 5-day excursion to Austin, Texas, conducted in July 2023, wherein Henyard, her principal aide Keith Freeman, and 3 township officials extravagantly disbursed over $20,000 of taxpayer funds. The detailed receipts expose an unparalleled level of opulence. $1,619 was allocated to the Fairmont Austin, a high-end luxury hotel. $389 was spent at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, and $53 was expended on items labeled as sports riding apparel. The extravagant spending persisted, with more than $24,000 directed towards major retail chains such as Walmart and Target, $1,425 allocated to Amazon purchases, $59 dedicated to Uber Eats and local dining establishments, and $3,491 spent on Henyard's personal photographer. In addition to this scandalous display of financial profligacy, Henyard now faces a more grave and insidious controversy involving a civil lawsuit that alleges sexual assault during a business trip to Las Vegas. This legal action, initiated in April 2024, names both Henyard and a village trustee as defendants. The suit, filed by a former assistant, accuses the trustee of perpetrating assault during the trip. This legal entanglement could potentially serve as the ultimate denouement to Henyard's already beleaguered and fragile public standing.
You see things like this, it's like a punch in the gut.
The narrative is profoundly unsettling. The former employee asserts that she began experiencing severe disorientation and acute impairment subsequent to a dinner with the unidentified trustee during the Las Vegas sojourn. According to reports from WGN and TV, which secured a copy of the complaint, she reportedly regained consciousness the following morning within the trustee's hotel accommodation, entirely bereft of memory regarding her transit there, and was afflicted with significant physical malaise. In addition, a distinct grievance filed by Officer Byron Miles, a member of Henyard's substantial security contingent, alleges that the trustee placed a call and initiated a FaceTime communication with him on the evening of the alleged assault, brazenly boasting about his actions concerning the woman. The complaint intimates that there were suggestions the employee might have been incapable of giving valid consent. WGN and TV further elucidate that Miles demanded the trustee transition to a video call to enable him, in his professional capacity as a law enforcement officer, newly informed of a potential criminal infraction, to visually scrutinize the situation. The trustee then maneuvered the camera towards a bed, revealing a partially disrobed woman. The complaint additionally alleges that the trustee manipulated the camera to focus on various intimate regions of the woman's body, broadcasting them on the screen, at times adjusting or removing articles of her clothing.
I would say I'm a definite true citizen of Dalton, and I'm a survivor.
What is even more disquieting is the behavior exhibited by Mayor Henyard in the wake of the incident. The former employee contends that upon informing Henyard and a police officer of the assault, the mayor initially manifested genuine shock and vowed to address the situation. However, contrary to expectations of protective action, Henyard allegedly instituted an involuntary unpaid medical leave for the complainant, thereby effectively silencing her. This maneuver has incited widespread public outrage, with many demanding Henyard's immediate resignation. The implicated trustee has refuted the allegations, asserting that his actions were intended solely to aid a colleague whom he presumed to be intoxicated. Nevertheless, the evidence presented in the lawsuit, including a FaceTime call wherein the trustee purportedly boasted of the assault, casts a profoundly sinister shadow over the case. Moreover, the appointment of Beau Brinley by Tiffany Henyard has only deepened the controversy. Brinley's dubious professional history, coupled with his contentious involvement in the R. Kelly scandal, renders him a profoundly problematic choice for legal representation, particularly for a public official embroiled in such grave allegations. Given Brinley's recent blunders and the escalating FBI investigation, it becomes glaringly apparent that Henyard may have committed a grievous strategic blunder. As her legal challenges escalate and her defense team disintegrates, the prognosis for Mayor Henyard of Dalton appears increasingly bleak.